Welcome back to another Lawyer Reacts. Typically, I do videos on landlord-tenant disputes. However, this one, not landlord-tenant, but a doozy. From the description, a daughter runs away with her boyfriend, and the parents of the daughter are suing, I think, the boyfriend. Can only imagine how this goes awry. Anybody running away with their boyfriend, that will be nothing but drama, and that's what we're here for. This is going to be a little bit of a long one, so just forewarning you, we're going to start right now.
These are the plaintiffs, Christina and Zarul Vasquez. Christina says her 14-year-old daughter, Claudia, and the defendant's son dated, and she ended up running away from home.
14 years old is very young to be running away. Okay, when I was 14, not very popular kid in school, so running away with a boyfriend was never going to happen. But I knew really nothing about life. So at 14, making the conscious decision to run away is very bold and very, very scary.
After she got into an argument with her. No one knew where she was. The SWAT team was combing the woods for her for 6 days, and everyone was trying to find her. The defendants told the cops they didn't know where she was, but
also, I did not have any desire to stress my parents out. Having the SWAT team hunt you down for 6 days is pretty insane. This is already we're in the intro, and this is a 14-year-old girl runs away and the SWAT team is looking for her. It's not good.
But 6 days later, they found her hiding out at the defendant's house. The defendants knew she was there. They hid her from everyone. Now they have to pay the $5,000 they're seeking for pain and suffering. These are the defendants, Melinda and Christopher McManus. Melinda says she found the plaintiff's daughter was hiding in her house the day after she went missing because her son was hiding her. From what she understood, the girl was claiming she was being abused at home, and her son felt he was protecting her. She's currently fighting obstruction charges in criminal court. She felt as if she was helping this girl, and certainly doesn't owe the plaintiffs $5,000. They're accused of hiding a fugitive. The defendants filed a countersuit for $2,000 for harassment.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Doug.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Christina and Zaul Vasquez, you are suing Melinda and Christopher McManus, who are the parents of your daughter's boyfriend, for $5,000 for harboring your daughter during a time that you thought your daughter was missing.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
So Friday, August 21st was the last day of school, and my daughter had to go take a Spanish exam, and she didn't want to go take it. I told her I was going to take her phone away if she didn't go to school. We got into an argument. She ran
What was
away.
the reason that she didn't want to take it?
She said it wasn't important.
She felt like she was going to fail anyway.
She's how old?
14.
Okay.
And she just refused, and when I told her I was going to take the phone, she freaked out and ran away.
Literally, physically ran away?
Yes.
Where did she go?
She ran.
This is something that I don't know if parents pre-cell phone ever dealt with, but this issue with kids and their cell phones. Kids are getting cell phones younger and younger. I had a cell phone at 8. It was black and white, and you could play Snake on it. I'm not old, I guess. But I had it for if I went to a friend's house, my mom gave me a phone so I could call her. But having an actual cell phone, where I went to school every day with it, I think I was probably around 12, and it's because my mom would use it to call me so I could go get, my brother went to school down the street, so my brother and I would meet, and my mom would pick us up. It was more like my mom was really worried, and I didn't have a lot of friends, so it wasn't like I was texting a lot of people, so this outside influence on me didn't really occur. But kids in the cell phone, they're extremely attached to their cell phones, and more with technology, cell phones can do a crazy amount of things that even when I was a kid, they couldn't do. And I thought when I was a kid, cell phones had peaked. But this idea of like your kid freaking out and running away over a cell phone is like, I don't know if it's the phenomenon of like how you balance trying to give your kid freedom and a sense of responsibility and weaning them into, adulthood versus maybe you're just too liberal, giving your kid a cell phone too young, but then the kid like socially, I guess like underdeveloped because they don't have the phone. But the cell phone thing is really, really critical with kids. I don't know what running away because your parents took your cell phone away because you need to go to school and take a test is like, as a kid, I would have never thought about not going to school and not taking a test and fighting my mom about that. So like the fact this became a dispute between a parent and a kid is like really disheartening.
She ran out our back door. We live by a wooded area to a side street, and that was the last place that a person, like one of the neighbors, seen her.
Were you home?
I was at work when I got the phone.
And then, but you were home?
Yes.
Were you heading to work?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
heading to work, and I have 2 other kids at home as well.
How old are the other kids?
15 and 5.
So she just took off.
I just assumed
You figured
she'd
she'd
be
show
right
up,
back. Yeah, she
right.
never has
Has
ran
done this
away
before.
before. So
All right, so then what happened?
So then, I call my husband, I explain everything. We're like, all right, we'll just let her cool off. I'm texting her, like, where are you? She's not responding. And then, like, come around 3 o'clock, and nobody's heard from her, not even the boyfriend that she lives and breathes for at this age.
How old is the boyfriend?
16. Yeah.
And she's 14. All right, go on.
And then, at that point, we call.
I would have been super worried if the boyfriend was 18. If the boyfriend's 16, I feel like they're just 2 very hormonal teenagers.
The police, made the report. At that point, it wasn't missing person, it was just a runaway.
Right.
And then as the night got later, it got darker, things got more serious. She's a 14-year-old girl. She has a little bit of mental health issues,
Right.
that we're dealing with. So we were just worried. We didn't know. And their son was literally the only person that my daughter spoke to, and we have the phone records. And
So, but I assumed that it was okay. So did you go to their house and talk to them to find out if your daughter was there?
We went the next day and just asked, have they seen her?
Did you talk to the boy yourself?
The boyfriend comes
Yeah.
out. He said that when she was saying that she was running away, she said, I'm running away and I'm going to a friend of mine's house. And that I'm
and
not
that
going
she
to
shut off
involve
the
you.
phone, and he never heard from her
Right,
again.
that I'm
That's
not-
what he said. So the police took this very seriously.
Yeah. Right.
She was missing for
We
how many
as well.
days? Well,
6
of
nights.
course you did.
6 nights.
6 nights?
6 nights.
6 nights.
So
Yeah.
So what's happening for those 6 days? The police
So-
are having an all-point
We had
search?
6 detectives, 3 at night, 3 during the day, 24 hours, searching, community searching, SWAT teams in the woods.
Flyers?
I find it weird that they're searching the entire community, but that they wouldn't have enough probable cause to try to go into the house and search the house of the boyfriend. Like, I find, given the emergency, I would think it would be reasonable to get a judge at least to go, hey, we have probable cause to search the house to see if the kid's in there. Because given that they're both teenagers, it's very likely a teenager may lie. And I don't know the layout of this house, but it could be possible that the girl's hiding in the kid's room and the parents really don't know. Like the boyfriend's parents may not know. So I find it weird that no one went and searched the house. I'm assuming she's in the house at this point. That the kid comes out and says she's at a friend's house, but in reality, she's actually in this house. Because then the 6 days would have ended right there. There would have been no 6 days. It would have been, okay, we found the kid. So that's kind of crazy.
Flyers,
Helicopters.
Helicopters, bloodhound dogs, SWAT teams, community searches.
So
I spoke with them. They
no
didn't know
leads, and then what happens?
well, I mean, basically, we feared the worst because
Well, you should. At that point,
This is now.
they had the detectives convinced that the detectives would come to my house because as a mother, I'm like, that boy, she lives and breathes for him something. He's got to know something. So the detectives are coming to my house telling me, I really don't think he has
This
her. Like,
is-
that's how convincing he was.
They searched that house about 6 times.
searched your house?
They searched their house 6 times.
Okay, so they did search the house. I don't know where she was hiding, like in the mattress. How did they not find her in this house?
At least. They came over on the 6th morning and said, We just got done doing another search at their house, and we truly do not know where we
And then
truly
what
believe
happened?
that they don't know.
And then
And
we
then a
got
couple hours later,
into the mother Melinda's phone. And
Who did?
The police, the detectives.
So how did they get your phone?
It wasn't my phone, it was my son's phone.
How did they get? So they
handed it
They
over.
should have gotten his
They
phone from the beginning.
confiscated
They
it, but
No, but
confiscated-
when you say confiscated it, you mean like this? Took it?
yes, they
so at
found.
this point, they found a message to his mother asking her to distract dad because Claudia has to go to the bathroom. And then the detective said, that's it. They went in and then they found her.
They didn't waste no time. They didn't knock. They just raided the house.
If you're a mom, right? As the boyfriend's mom, you're a mom. You have to know that this is not your place to decide this on behalf of the other mom. So if the girl is in fact, let's say, being abused, or you think she's being abused, you go to the police about it, and then the police will take her. There'll be child protective services to take the teenage daughter until they figure it out. But for you to hold the daughter, knowing all of these resources are being spent looking for the girl that's in your house that you're hiding from the cops, I can see why this criminal charge is being pressed against her. You aided and abetted this crime. Or you created it. You didn't aid and abet. You created a crime by hiding her from the police, knowing very well the police are looking for her. And they've gone to your house 6 different times to look for her. And you're lying to the police. As a mom, you turn that over to the system. As much as people hate the system, you cannot make that judgment call, because if the roles are reversed and the boy was at their house and he ran away, you would want the same done. You wouldn't want these people hiding your son while the city is looking for that person. It's crazy that she made that call, that she was like, I'm just going to make the authoritative call that I'm going to hide this girl from the police. That's insane.
Where was
That's
she?
my-
Underneath
bed.
his bed.
Whose bed?
The son's bed, Tyler's bed.
Show me the report. Do you have the report?
Yes.
Hand it over, please. Mom, mission impossible. She needs to pee. Mommy, how are we supposed to occupy daddy? Respondent, that's your son. I'm trying to think of a way right now because she has to get downstairs and back up without him seeing. What? What is this? No, put your hand down, Daddy. You're the one they were trying to occupy. You're the daddy in this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you tell me what's going on, Mommy?
That was the first day she was there, and I told my son he could not have her at my house. He needed to get her out. I thought she was gone.
I'm sorry. Did you tell that to the police?
No. And that is
So
my
when the
fault.
police were looking for this child, you didn't tell them she was here.
I thought I was keeping her safe because
Why?
Because she told me she was being abused.
By whom?
Her parents.
How?
She says she gets beat. She's coming to school with black eyes. She had a.
Have you ever seen her go to school with a black eye?
No, but when she came to my house, she had a huge goose egg on her head.
A huge goose egg. Did you take a picture?
No.
Okay, because I saw the pictures that the police took. It wasn't a huge goose egg. I did see marks. Now, let me ask you a question. Why didn't you just tell the police that? Because then she would be safe. You could just turn her over to the police, because the police were at your house on the 21st. Why didn't you just turn her over to the police?
I wasn't home when the police were there.
Why didn't you pick up the phone and call the police when you heard they came to your house?
That's on me.
Why did you lie to the police?
I thought I was keeping her safe.
Over and over, you lied to the police. Each day they came to your house and you lied. When did you find out that you were harboring a missing child?
When, first of all, I didn't know the whole time. And the message that said that they were trying to distract me because they didn't want me to see her because they knew I was going to call the cops because I could have
Did you end up getting charged for obstruction?
Nothing.
Okay, you got charged for obstruction. What's going on with your criminal case?
It's still pending.
Do you understand that while you kept the location of that child secret, because I don't believe first, I told him not to have her there. She was found hiding under his bed in your house.
6 days.
Do you understand that there were parents suffering for 6 days while you did this? Do you understand how lame your answer to me, I thought I was protecting her, is when there are police looking for her who could protect her?
Yes, Your Honor.
She's hiding under a bed of your 16-year-old son? What control do you have over your 16-year-old son? What did you do when you found out?
Me?
Yeah, you.
The cops had to get between us because I was throwing him out of the house for lying to me and for harboring a minor in my
What
house.
are you thinking? Are you an adult? Are you a mother? Is that your actual son?
Yeah.
How is it that you could allow something like this to go on for 6 days? A manhunt looking for a missing 14-year-old girl who hasn't come home in 6 days, and you know where she is.
I find it odd. Like she doesn't really look remorseful. She's being scolded, but she doesn't really look like all that remorseful about this. Like she still feels like it was okay what she did, which it's not okay. Like you might think that you're keeping the kid safe, but there's a reason why there's a system. And I get it. The system is not perfect. But you have this kid and you have this whole city thinking that the girl's missing. What were you going to do? For all perpetuity, keep this girl? Like, you have to, how do you make that call? Like, how do you decide that you're going to be the authority in this situation? And then you're signaling to your son that all this behavior is okay, that you can just lie to the police, that you can just evade the police, that this manhunt and these resources can be expended with no ramification for that. It costs a lot of money to do a manhunt. That's a lot of taxpayer dollars that went into that. And the girl's there underneath the bed, which don't even get me started on how livid I am about the teenage girl. Like, to create this whole drama in the first place. Now, are the parents abusing her? That I don't know. But if she was, I'm certain there should be resources at the school where she could document that, report that. And if not, then we definitely need to have that in the system or in schools where you have children are given safe spaces to report abuse. But to have a whole manhunt and be hiding under your boyfriend's bed, which let's assume there is no abuse and it was specifically about you have to go to school and take this test. And if you're going to fail the test, well, that's on you. You need to study. But this is like just so many layers of like, these are the kind of teenagers that you like really worry about. You're like, you don't think they actually exist. And here, like this whole scenario is going down.
You know where she is. Did your wife keep this from you for how long?
For all times, Your Honor.
There's no. I told him that he had to take her out of there. Yeah, and that's special because she spent 6 days there.
Your Honor, they didn't barge into my house. They knocked and asked permission to go up and look. And as every other time I did, I gave them the permission. And
What I don't understand was where was she all those permission times? Why don't you tell me, since you're the inside man? Tell me where she was, Melinda.
I don't know. You'd have to
Well,
ask
every time
my
the police
16-year-old
knocked,
son.
would you go up and tell your son, hey, they're here?
I wasn't home
wasn't
every
home.
single time. I was at work.
Now that everything happened, I presume that as parents, you have sat your son down and gotten to the bottom of what occurred. So where was she every time the police came?
storage area. We have a house that has a big storage area in the up in the second floor.
So they would hear a knock and she would go to the storage area?
That's right.
And where was she the rest of that time? How do you
Judge,
not know that
honestly,
there's
I
a
don't
14-year-old
know.
living in your house for 6 days?
I honestly did not
You
know
never
she
walk
was
into
there.
your son's room?
Judge, I'm a certified youth therapist. I could lose my job for this.
That's not my question. My question is, you never walk into your son's room?
Usually upstairs, no, because when I do, his room is trashed and it upsets me. I go up there once a week.
That has a total ring of truth. So you didn't find your wife was acting, how long have you been married to her?
We've been together for 25 years.
You didn't find that she was acting a little hinky?
No, ma'am. No, Judge.
And did she, let me ask you a question. You say, the police had to stand between me and my son. What'd you do when you found out your wife knew the whole time?
My wife's heart is a lot bigger than her brain. I mean, I wouldn't
Her
hit
brain
her.
is about this big. And I don't know about how big her heart is because your wife is massively, massively out of line to harbor someone else's child.
I agree.
That's not a heart thing, okay? You have no idea. Do you know what you put these parents through? Do you know the suffering they went through? Do you know the tax dollars that you spent by having this massive manhunt with helicopters going on while you kept your little mouth shut about her whereabouts? Do you understand the amount of suffering that you poured on these people?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you?
Yes.
I hope they seek jail time against you.
She's never even
I'm worried
apologized.
that that won't happen. What'd you
She's
say?
never apologized,
course
ever.
No.
Apologize!
I'm very sorry for harboring.
Yeah, can you look at me in my eyes, though? That's
I'm
the
very
point.
sorry for harboring your daughter. I should have never done it. I was taking her word, and I didn't know what was going on, and it's my fault.
I don't
It
think
is.
for a second
It
you
is.
ever looked at me.
The
Not
6
for a
years,
second.
the 6 days of suffering are completely your fault.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Were these parents wrong?
All my beefs she brought up. This is really insane. I don't know. The daughter has mental health problems. I don't know what those are. I also just think it's the fragility of kids these days. And I say that like I sound old. I'm a millennial, but I see like the evasiveness. And I don't know, I just didn't have that in me. I'd never want to get in trouble. I was like very afraid of getting in trouble. But there's a lot of like fragility, but also brevity to what kids do. And I saw it as a kid with other kids who would pull stunts like this. And I had a friend whose sister would pull stunts like this. And I just don't know at what point is it that the parents are just not parenting, that the school is just not teaching, or if this overabundance of media that kids consume clouds their judgment, and how you balance wanting your kid to be normal and inclusive with other kids who also have access to the internet, but then also curbing that and saying, hey, you can't listen to this music at this age. You can't watch these things at this age. You can't have social media at this age. Because this is like something that, like, I don't know at what point she thought of this idea from Running Away because she saw it on some sort of media, or it was her own idea, or were these two kids, you know, borderline Romeo and Juliet here. I'm just so like flabbergasted, and I feel completely bad for the parents. I feel bad for the boyfriend's dad, who seemed to not know whether he knew or didn't know. I can't tell, but I could see where he just didn't know that the girl was there. And I could see the wife of the mom of the boyfriend. And she seems to have like no emotion about the thing. So I believe the husband when he says, I had no idea. And she didn't seem to be acting any different, because she in court doesn't seem to be fazed by any of this at all. And the son maybe could be skittish, but as a parent to a teenager, it's very likely you're not going in your kid's room. Your kid's in their room, and they come out, maybe they come to the kitchen, the living room, maybe to your room. But the most part, if you're a teenage boy, you're like in your own world. You're like, don't bother me, Dad. And yeah, you don't want to go in there and look at your kid's room a mess. So I believe the dad, and he goes, yeah, I didn't go in there. And if the police went in there and couldn't find the girl, and they went 6 times, and 6 separate times he cooperated, and he believed them, like the police didn't find the girl. And for her to be like hidden in the storage, it's like the son and the mom went, well, I guess the mom didn't know, but the son went the extra effort of hiding the girl. But yeah, I think that that's valid. He would have no idea.
Here, were these parents wrong by not telling the plaintiffs and not telling the cops?
Absolutely, because in this world, justice is very important, and the decent and the right thing to do and the moral thing to do, and I can speak as a rabbi and say that, is they had to report it.
To the cops?
Yes.
Not necessarily to the parents of the girl, but to the cops?
To the cops.
Oh, that's interesting. What do you say?
I think they should have at least told the parents where the daughter was, and if they had concerns, go to the police. They're liable.
Fair enough. Good points here. Going inside the courtroom.
Now, what's going on with your daughter now?
We have her in counseling. She has a mentor. We're all in family counseling as well.
How is it going?
Well, with the interruption from their family, it's not going well at all.
Tell me what you mean by that.
Every day my husband and I will leave to work. She sneaks out. She goes to their house.
The father told the officers she can come here any she wants because there's no order of protection between Claudia and her.
Even though...
Why would you, can I just ask you a question? Why are you
Yes.
nodding? Why would you guys invite the 14-year-old back to your house after all this?
This was after the judge upstate had said that her and Tyler could see each other. And
Why
there
would
was
you
no
want her
shame.
and Tyler to see her? Why would you want...
Okay. The dad, I think he said, was some sort of youth counselor. So I'm suspecting he's going to bring that into play right now and go, hey, as a youth counselor, I see this. If I was a parent to this girl, I would not want these kids near each other. Listening to this, it's the school year's over because she was supposed to be taking a Spanish final that she thought she was going to fail, and it was like the last day of school. Unless I got that wrong. I think it's like towards the end of the year. So they have all summer break. It's hard when you have two parents working to manage this. She could be put in a summer school, but that's assuming she goes to school and doesn't ditch every day. And if you both have to work and you're a two-income household, then it's hard to forego working because there's two other children in this house. There's I think it's 15-year-old and like 7-year-old or 5-year-old. So there's two other kids in this house that also need attention from their parents. And all that's being overshadowed by this other child who is leaving. Now, at least you know where she's going. It's the boyfriend's house. But that being said, as the parents of the boyfriend, I would be really, really terrified to have this girl in my house. After my son just hid her for 6 days and there was a 6-day manhunt for her and she was hiding in my storage attic. I would be like, no. And I would probably tell my son, you two are not to see each other. And if they were to see each other, probably she'd be supervised. But I don't know why you would want these two kids reconnecting, though I could see it being more traumatizing if you take the boyfriend away from the daughter. That might cause her to further retaliate. But on both parenting sides, having these kids come back together is almost enabling the girl to keep doing this behavior, like where I can just keep fighting with you because I can go to my boyfriend's house and his parents are cool. So it's dicey that you don't want to further trigger the girl by taking away this huge thing, but you don't want to reward her and enable her by saying, yeah, you can see this boy and you can also just go there every day. And the parents are welcoming her to come.
Want this to continue? You have zero control over your child?
No,
He's 16.
I have all control over all three of
Then
my
why
sons.
would you not want to put the kibosh on this when it
Because
can only lead to some kind of trouble?
It was legal.
That's not my question, is it?
No, ma'am, but no, Your Honor, it's not. But it was legal, and all I
Just because it's legal does not mean it's right. And there's a difference between what's legal and what's moral too. In this case, moral, responsible, whatever word you want to use. Just because you can legally do it doesn't mean that you should do it.
And all I wanted to do was follow the laws. And
Is it because you could follow the law and not have her in
Well,
your
I was
house?
supervised.
Considering that you were harboring her, willingly or not, and that your wife is charged with illegally harboring her and obstruction justice. So why would you want to continue to have her there and to flower this relationship?
The judge at home said that there was no restraining order and they were allowed to see
You
each
nodded your
other.
head when she said that you had said she's welcome there anytime.
She is, as long as it's legal.
I don't like that. I don't like, well, as long as it's legal. Like, you're a man, and this is a girl, and he has 3 sons. That is too many men to women ratio for my comfort in this whole scenario. Like, yeah, as long as it's legal, like, that's like telling your kid, hey, so long as it's legal, just do stuff. Or until it's said illegal, and then until we get in trouble for it. Like, that is a really terrible message.
Right.
And supervised, which the judge didn't say, but by me.
Who's supervising? Oh, all of a sudden you're home now all the time and you know what's going on? 6 days there was a fugitive in your house, a runaway child, but now you're all over it and you know what's going on and supervising stuff.
He's 16 and in love. I mean, he's very depression, and he likes her and he loves her. And
Your Honor, the probation officer went over to their house and told them Claudia is not allowed to be here.
Oh, well, then why
whatsoever.
don't you go to a judge and get them arrested, or why don't you
So
go to
then
They can't arrest her because she's only 14.
not her, him?
Well,
who
we
just
keep
said
trying.
all that.
We send the police
We keep
there,
trying to have him arrested.
and they just, all they'll do is they'll remove Claudia and take her home. So on August 28th, she was there. We've had it.
Well, hold on. I don't know who the probation officer is. The probation officer of what? Who's on probation is my question.
28th, she was there. We've had it. We call the police. We send them there. They send her home. Again, now that's the same day the anonymous CPS reports called in on us also.
Oh, let's talk about
So
that.
the 29th,
Oh my God, it's getting worse. So if the police keep coming to your house and saying, hey, this girl cannot be here, we're taking her home, that doesn't seem very legal to me. That doesn't seem to me like, oh, this is condoned behavior. They're taking her away. And the thing here is, you are saying it's legal. You know, the judge didn't say there's a restraining order. Therefore, her coming over to our house trumps the parenting decisions of them. So now you effectively are deciding to be this kid's parent, and that your word is more important than the word of the actual parents. And until a court order says, hey, you can no longer have the child in your custody and she's going to be a ward of the state now, and we're going to put her in foster care, you do not get to parent some other kid's kid, especially when time and time again, the police are coming and saying, hey, we're taking this kid away. She should not be here. That is crazy to me that now they're like, oh, it's legal. It's like, well, it doesn't seem to be, because they keep bringing the girl back home. And here the family is trying to work things out. And you're saying, just come here and it's fine. And making the police, again, spending tax dollars, going over there and bringing her back home like an expensive tax dollar Uber. And like, how are they supposed to make any efforts as a family to get better if you're like, oh, well, they're in love. Too bad. They're teenagers. When they're 18, when I don't know what jurisdiction is, but you know, when she's 18 and the boyfriend's 20, they can be on love all they want by themselves in their own apartment. But right now she has parents, and your parents, you need to parent your kid, and they need to parent their kid, and you're interfering with their ability to parent. This seems like so disrespectful.
Good.
wait. So
Who
CPS
filed the CPS complaint?
This phone call is supposedly from my 14-year-old daughter, who doesn't even have a phone, but she does because Melinda got her a phone. And then there was an anonymous report.
I don't understand. I don't understand how another.
So then you buy her a cell phone? What in the world is this? I also don't, I mean, the court system moves very slowly.
Another set of parents can decide they're going to parent your
This is our
child.
frustration.
I'm sorry, and
Right.
that there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing.
There has to be something you can do
Well,
about
their
it.
son turned 17 on September 4th, and we told our daughter that if she has any contact with him, that we will be pressing the statutory rape charges. That is the only level up that we have had. So we're trying, you know, school's got them separated.
told her,
You
I
are
said-
setting your son up for
I
a
told her, I said,
real
one day
problem.
at their house, I'm calling the cops. Statutory rapes are being charged. I already met with
We
my
have
lawyer.
I don't
We're ready
want
to
to
go.
do that to a kid and ruin his life.
Well, I met with my lawyer to make sure. So when I do
wanna
act on
do
this, I
everything
want to make
proper.
sure that the 17-year-old was right. When she does get alone with him, the lawyer said,
Yep.
let's go. But it's just a matter of timing right now.
Yes, it's been very,
So we're just
very
waiting
hard.
patiently.
If you really do have a lawyer you're talking to,
Yes.
file that lawsuit now so that there's a court order so that you don't have to rely on anybody else but that judge to see to it that they don't interfere with your efforts to regain control over your wayward 14-year-old daughter.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
correct, ma'am. You're
But
right.
do it. Don't wait any longer.
I
No,
tried
that's
to get
done.
order of protections, but because we're not related and she's a minor, they wouldn't give them to me.
I don't understand. She's a minor, and that's why it should be granted. That's what I don't understand. But if you can't get it that way, then go into court for it.
Okay.
Now, what is this iPhone 6 Plus, Ugg boots, and sweater?
Well,
Those are the things she ran away with that Friday morning, never to be seen again. which was reported to the CPS worker. Melinda had it, and then I have a message from the detective saying the dad says they don't have it, but I've never seen any of the
How do you know
property.
Belinda had it with that phrase you said?
My CPS worker said I can try to get you the...
That's not the same as knowing Belinda had it. Do you have something from the CPS worker saying that?
That's the thing. She couldn't release. She can't give us that.
The case.
I don't understand why not.
Because
you
the
guys
case
ended up
was
taking
open.
time off lost from work. You're suffering for pain and suffering for, according to you, a false claim with CPS and harassment.
Right.
Let me hear from you guys on the falsity of the CPS claim. Did you call that in?
No. When she went to the hospital on the day, Claudia chose on the day she was found to go to the hospital. The social worker at the hospital contacted CPS. We didn't contact them. I haven't contacted them. I haven't made any false reports.
Let
The
me see.
hospital
You have
opened
some
it.
text between your son and your daughter, correct? Is there something funny to you?
No, Your Honor. I just wanted
Okay,
to show
because
you
you
the
keep
picture.
breaking
All
into
the pictures
smile,
were
and I'm trying to understand why you keep breaking into
just wish
smile
I
and
could-
something that's utterly heartbreaking, and you're doing it now
is.
too.
I agree, but it's what
Yeah.
they're saying. It's making me smile because
There's nothing funny about what they're saying.
They're lying.
That
That's funny
lying
to me.
shouldn't make you smile.
Okay.
Under no circumstances should there be a smile
I
on your
apologize,
face.
Your Honor.
Let's talk about the text between the kids.
Sorry.
Right.
Apologize.
Who's talking to who in these texts?
It's Tyler and Claudia, my daughter
And their
and
son.
their son.
I'm telling you, that blank is definitely the moves I'm trying to torture her with you. That'd be the literal funniest blank if she saw us pull up as torturers. I could imagine her being so scared knowing we're about to blank her up. I don't care. I'll go with you if I have to. I just don't want to leave your arms again. I hate waiting when it comes to you. I lose way too much patience and get way moody. I wish we didn't have to wait, knowing we both want to see each other so much. She responds, I just miss you. I can't wait to just hold your face and kiss you until I can't breathe anymore. He responds, if only, with how crazy we both feel, like we could only give Christina, that's you, the worst of the worst, and nobody else could. I know you hate her. I hate her even more. She's the problem to everything. I wish she would just drop dead.
Your Honor, this is the message.
Maybe a few months from now, we can make it seem like we drift apart or something, so if I ever run away again, they won't question you. Believe me, I hate her enough to know. I hate her enough. I know you have to despise this thing. Dropping dead ain't even enough for her, though she needs torture, so she wishes death. Torture her so bad, her body is irreparable. Keep her alive so she's even more mentally unstable, and kill her off as she lived her paranoid-filled life. If you could do that and not go to jail, you know I'd let you, baby. Christina deserves the worst of the worst. Blah, blah, blah. You give me the best always since day one. You've sacrificed so much for me. I hope she gets more than fired. Let me see her on fire. I want to hear her screams out for help.
Okay, there'll be more. I don't know what this mom has done, if she's done anything, that these would be the text messages between two teenagers wanting to set this woman on fire and torture her and have her dead. And that if they legally could do it, that they would do it. This is insane for two teenagers to have such evil thoughts like this.
As her flesh burns and sticks to her ugly face. Now let me ask you, sir, as a therapist for youth,
Yes, ma'am.
are you perhaps thinking now that having her around your son may not be the best thing?
It's not the healthiest thing, Your Honor.
Because if this is what she's writing your son, and your son's in love,
I never saw
maybe that you had never heard this.
I never saw that.
Exactly. How do you know this isn't going to be just enough?
Why would you not be checking your son's phone? Like, as a parent, it's your phone. Check your kid's phone. Then you would see all this. Why are you not checking the phone?
Another one of those cases. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind, both of you. You think you have the facts to make decisions that are so weighty and that will have such effect on people's lives, including your own son, and you don't have the facts. You guys need to run, not walk, to a civil courthouse to file a complaint for their interference in your parental rights. You need to talk to your lawyer about it, and you need to do it today so that it can get in front of a judge who will then order them not to have anything to do with your daughter. Quite frankly, I don't know how you can continue to work on this with two adults who have the hubris to think they know better and to continue to go against what you want as parents and what everyone is working towards in unification here. All of the professionals, all of the cops, all of the probation officers, all of the therapists, everyone's working towards a goal that they are stopping you from achieving. So stop being a victim. Go to court and file a lawsuit to get the order that you want. You understand?
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
meantime, I'm going to rule on what's in front of me here. You have a counterclaim for $2,000 against them for harassment. What's that about?
About them threatening to kill me, my son.
When he's looking for his daughter and she's there?
No, after she was found, to threaten to kill me, my kids, and my
But after that, you continue to have her over, and she was welcome there whenever you want, because according to you, it's perfectly legal. And then he would go there.
Said it was okay. They
Right,
know
so he would go
everything.
there, and
they
he would
know everything at upstate.
Yeah.
They
So
know that the
how
drug
is his
dealers-
presence there is to kill you, as opposed to get his
Oh,
daughter,
does he
which
wanna
is
come
what
in
they
and buy-
keep
and buy me
doing.
a beer? What do
No,
I think?
did you
All
hear my
these
question?
threats.
Did you
All
hear
these
my
threats.
Did
And
you
I'm
hear
gonna
my
walk there and
question?
shake his hand?
Did you hear my question? Why are you deducing that his presence in front of your house would be to kill you, as opposed to get his daughter from you, his 14-year-old daughter?
She was already returned.
I'm not talking about the big hiding incident with
okay.
helicopters. I'm talking about after that. After that, the probation officer went to your house, and she was there, and you both looked me in the face, and she's welcome there anytime. It's perfectly legal, and I'm going to keep welcoming her there.
That's what the judge said. I'm not going against the judge's order.
Do you hear what I said?
Yeah. I'm talking about.
I don't think
I'm
you
talking
do.
about real
I think I'm
judges in
talking to a
Rochester.
frickin' wall. That's what's happening here. I keep talking and nothing's going in your thick head.
That's 'cause
because
you-
you're so busy trying to be right that you don't understand the position. Get out of my courtroom.
Okay.
I've had enough with your laughing.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Listen to
for
me.
that.
I need everybody to listen to me, because our contact here is going to be over. Okay? But you guys have to go back to your children who don't listen. And I don't mean to, I know that
I know.
that when you have a child who has become ungovernable, that people get through this. That child will grow. That child one day is going to be a woman, a mother, she's going to have a job, and if there's a God, she's going to have her own children, right?
Hopefully.
And then her children will give her some trouble, and that's the day she'll look back at the two of you and beg forgiveness. And, you know, it's just, this isn't going to last. But you don't, you know, while you're working on this so hard, the last thing you need are two unrepentant, smug other parents interfering. So I don't really care about an iPhone. I don't really care about Ugg boots. I don't really care about a sweater. I care about lost wages, because they hid your child. And when you sue for the rest of that money for pain and suffering for making a false claim, I don't know whether they're the ones who made that false claim, but I sure as heck know they're the ones who had that child in their house and have caused you a great deal of pain and suffering. So I am ordering Mr. and Mrs. McManus to pay you the $5,000 cap that you are asking for in this courtroom. But again, it's not going to stop until you get that court order. On your counterclaim against them for $2,000, here's a shocker. No. I wish you the best of luck. Don't give up on her.
No, man.
Because if she
No,
feels,
Your
but
Honor.
I'm really, you know what? I'm actually talking to you right now.
I never will.
I know. You are her mother. There is no other
I
mother.
am her mother.
That lady isn't her mother. The lady who walked out isn't her mother. You are her mother. And she needs to feel like you're going to keep fighting. Okay?
I will.
You have to
Work harder.
shine as a mother.
Thank
Good
you, Your
luck.
Honor.
That like is so heartbreaking, because like as a parent, I can only imagine how difficult it is to have to try to fix something with a kid that is just like you said, ungovernable, unapproachable, incorrigible. And to want what's best for that kid, and that kid, it'll be 10 years down the line before they realize like, oh man, I really put my parents through it and they did not deserve it. But to have two other adults condone this girl's behavior and to basically skirt their efforts to try to rebuild their family or heal their family to skirt the law, despite a probation officer coming multiple times and saying the girl needs to go back home. She should not be here. She needs to go back home. And that you have decided that you will parent this girl and bypass the actual parents is beyond ridiculous to me. And this is like 2 years old, so I hope things got much better and this girl and her family healed, and now she's probably 16, 17, maybe she's 18, I don't know. But hopefully that got resolved. Troubled youth is very troubling. Being an adult and being troubled is one thing. Having a young woman or girl to be a woman and seeing her and the way she's setting herself for a poor trajectory downhill is really baffling but scary as parents when you want just the best for this kid. And someone else is coming in after harboring the kid for 6 days and then continuing to interfere. I would want nothing to do with that girl if I got in trouble for harboring her for 6 days and caused a bunch of grief to my family. And I wouldn't want my kid near that girl because they clearly are toxic to one another. And to not know that those text messages were going on between the two kids is crazy to me. They want to kill the woman. And from what I'm gathering, this is the stepmom. This is the actual mom, is the biological mom's gone. And the plaintiff seems to be the stepmom. But to fight this hard for that girl, that's a mom. That's what you could hope for. In that sense, I think she's doing a great job. But also, no one's talking about this, but the two other silent victims of this are the two other kids that are having attention taken away from them to spend all of his attention trying to help this girl, and she does not see that. That girl does not see it. I can guarantee you she's a teenager. She has no idea that her two other siblings are suffering as well because all of his attention is spent on her. And that could create tension between them as they get older, and they could hate her for this very thing. All it does is it make bad blood. That was crazy. This is what happens when you venture outside landlord-tenant law. It gets it's crazy everywhere, in every venue. This is one of the craziest people courts I think I've seen ever. Also one of the longest ones. So if you stayed this long, thank you. I wish the best of luck to all parents out there. I hope no one else is in the situation, but if you do have a situation, I wish you and your family the best in that. If you thought this was mildly entertaining, you can go to my playlist of all my other reaction videos. Otherwise, in the meantime, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one.